my 9-year-old son, Thomas. So in honor of my 9-year-old son, Thomas, and his style, this is dabbing.
Yeah, we're
See how
live
cool
now.
I am?
Hey, Brad,
Welcome, everybody.
we're live now. Hey, guys, welcome to another episode of ProSeller Talk. My guest tonight is Brad DeGraw. Did I say it right, Brad?
You nailed it. Thanks, John.
Brad, just so you guys know, Brad started out, I did my homework on you too a little bit, Brad. Brad started out with $100, and this is no joke. He started out with $100 to build his business and has taken $100 and built it into $1 million business and probably beyond now. So Brad knows his stuff. I'm real excited to have him here as a guest. I hope you guys welcome him and listen to him and learn from him, because things that he's going to be sharing with you guys tonight. And I hope you walk away with valuable information from what he shares with you. Hey, Brad, welcome.
Hey, thanks, John. Do we have a way to kind of poll the audience? I'd love to get some interactivity as we go, because I'd like to hear, what are your biggest challenges? Lately, the big hubbub on the Amazon kind of circuit is, Amazon changed their policy on reviews. And if you like, we can focus on that. That's kind of what I thought we'd talk about. But I'd love to hear if there are other things that are challenging you personally in your business. Put them in wherever. Do we have a comment box or a chat or an email? Anything like that?
We do have a chat. We do have a chat, and I will be watching that. And like Brad said, guys,
Perfect.
Brad's here for you guys now for the next hour. So if you guys put those questions in there and your challenges, that's why Brad's here, and he really wants to help you guys. So let's help him out and put those in there.
Yep. And then I'll transition. I have a prepared kind of presentation, but I'd love, stuff like this, when it's live, the magic of live is when you can actually get that, wow, that was the one thing I needed to make my week, maybe even my year. At this time of the year, just learning one thing that gets you unstuck can be huge, tens of thousands of dollars of difference. So I'm happy to be that resource for you guys, but you need to do your part and just put it in so John can moderate that for us. So with that being said, I'll switch into a screen share here. I'll just share the whole thing. There's nothing too crazy on my screen. Boom. You should be able to see everything. Quick and dirty about me, the past is, I started 4 or 5 years ago with $100 and a Wi-Fi connection. I was fired from too many jobs and start out with arbitrage. Chris Green style, you go to the clearance section, you buy things for 80–90% off, and you sell them at retail or more. And that was okay. That's a good way to make cash. I made, over 100,000 in cash flow that first year with not really much training or tools. And the environment's different now. There's more competition. There's a whole lot more tools. But I realized that it wasn't really a business. It was just kind of a glorified job. And so I want to show you what we're doing, how that evolved into what we do these days, and anyone can do this. The same way I started with $100 in a Wi-Fi connection. Assuming you're seeing me right now, I assume that you have internet, you could do this business. So, arbitrage led to like creating bundles and multi-packs. I learned that from Skip. And then from there, there's a course called ASM. It's like, hey, reach out to manufacturers and stick your label on it, which is an option to make money, but you can take it one step further. There's actually 3 things that we do different that make all the difference in the world. And I'll show you exactly what we do. So first things first, you have to do a little bit of research. Now, John, are you getting any feedback? What's your attendees right now? What are they doing in their business that's working? Are we doing retail arbitrage? Are we doing traditional private label? Are we doing wholesale drop shipping? What are we getting from the feedback?
I think I get a mix of that in my audience. My audience is a lot of it, I'm going to say without hesitation, is probably a lot of retail arbitrage.
Okay.
You have a lot of them converting over to wholesale and private label as well, because they're realizing that Amazon, it's their sandlot, and Amazon makes the rules. So they have to be able to adjust and be able to learn different avenues. And they should anyway. As you know, Brad, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. You got to be more diversified.
Yep.
And not just look at Amazon, but look at other places as well.
Well, let's talk for a second about tools. So this will work for everyone across each business model. And then I'll talk specifically about what we're doing in our business. So this way, everyone gets some benefit. So if you own the buy box, if that listing's yours, maybe you have exclusive from the manufacturer, you're creating a bundle or multi-pack that's unique to you and no one else is on that listing, this is a great software. It's called Splitly. I don't make it. It's Greg Mercer. He does another tool that we call Jungle Scout. Really, really cool stuff. It's a plugin or web-based. There's another tool. It's called Keepa. You can get this. Keepa is free. Splitly and Jungle Scout have fees to them. Camel, Camel, Camel. These are tools that you can research the price history, the rank of products, and then you can make better buying decisions, whether you're arbitraging or wholesaling or drop shipping. You can spy on your competition. Also, if you're creating products or you're pursuing specific product opportunities, I highly recommend using Google Trends. It's web-based. You can just type in Google Trends, and you can see if a trend is linear or cyclical. And that's a big deal because, you know, in December, we're coming up on the holidays. Everyone wants everything to do with, you know, peppermint and pumpkin spice. Everyone wants to eat a whole turkey, but in January, everyone wants to lose weight. So it's nice to know what's a cyclical trend and a linear trend. You're going to need this no matter which one of these business models you're doing. Then you want to do keyword research. Fresh Key is great. It's a one-time fee. I want to say it's like $50. We have it on every computer we own. It's awesome. And then also Merchant Words. That's a monthly subscription, so be prepared for that. 10, 20 bucks. It's totally worth it. Tools now, no matter what business model you're in, let me show you how to sell your product so that you understand the market well enough that people will throw away the #1 best-selling product and buy yours. I know that's a big claim, but let me show you exactly how we do it. So here's a product called Rocco and Roxy. It's a pet odor removal spray. So, you know, we have a dog, his name's Coco, he pees sometimes. You spray this and, you know, the odor goes away. And hopefully he doesn't pee in the same spot again. So the market is people who have indoor pets, but they work long hours. That's the emotion, because you really have to tap into the problems, fantasies, and desires. And if you're taking notes, you're going to want to write that down. Problems, fantasies, desires. That's what your business is built on. Even if you're doing drop shipping, even if you're getting exclusives from manufacturers and just doing resale, that's fine. But your businesses should be built on problems, fantasies, and desires. And when you do that, you can build an empire, because those problems, fantasies, desires, they will outlive you and your kids. Like here behind me is my son, Thomas. He's 9. I'm a dad. That means, like every other dad on the planet, I have this fantasy that I'm the best dad in the world, that I'm a better dad than my dad was, that my kid's going to have a better childhood than I had. It's just the way we are. And we'll spend unreasonable amounts of money for this identity. Am I making sense here, John?
Yeah, absolutely you are.
Okay, cool. And if I'm going too fast, I'll slow it down, but there's a lot of great stuff that I have to share, and I'd love to get some really great stuff in you guys' heads. So Rocco and Roxy, they make an odor eliminator spray for people who have indoor pets and work long hours outside of the home. That's what they're really selling. They're selling an identity. Technically speaking, it's liquid in a spray bottle. So you can see it's the #1 bestseller, tons of reviews. What we do, and you can see the reviews broken up on Amazon. Anyone who's been on Amazon very long as a customer or seller knows that reviews are really compelling for the success of a product. You can see that not everyone loves this product. Most people do, but there are 1, 2, and 3-star reviews that we could read and learn where are people's missed expectations. And if you're taking notes, you're going to write down missed expectations and put a star by that, because that's where the money is made, and customers missed expectations. So like I said, we're going to take a best-selling product and we're going to make our product so great that people throw away the #1 best-selling product and buy ours. And the way we do that is by researching the 1, 2, and 3-star reviews. So you can see there's about 150 1, 2, and 3-star reviews here. You don't have to read them all. The reason why you don't have to read them all is just like you don't have to drink a whole gallon of milk to know if it's good or bad. You can just start sampling these. So check this out. There's kind of a closer look. We're going to start with 3-star reviews. And I blew this up so maybe it's easier to read. In fact, I can even switch into presenter mode. I won't be able to see you guys. So if you're motioning to me, I won't be able to see you, John. Oh man, give it 1 second. Let's make sure. Okay, 3 stars. It says it seems to have worked, but the smell lingers for a long time. Okay, so if you were going to research this product and make it better, you're going to write down smell. That's where the missed expectation was. The number 3-star review here says smells unpleasant. Okay, well, you're going to write that down. Smell again. Here's a 2-star review. Empty promises. Smells worse than the urine. Well, that's a problem. That's a problem because if the solution is worse than the problem, then it's not a really great solution. All right, let's go to the next one. 1-star review. The smell, scent, it's awful. I'm very disappointed in the product. I would never buy it again. Well, just because they wouldn't buy this again doesn't mean that their pet isn't going to have the same accident in the house and doesn't mean they don't want to fix it. They're going to buy another product, but they'll never buy this one again. Ding, 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 ding. Cue the entry music. This is where your product comes in. You want to make sure that your product has the same properties plus a good smell. It could smell like citrus. It could smell like an apple pie. It could smell like anything as long as it's better than urine. Are we making sense how we can just do some very, very basic research and come up with products that are better than the best-selling products? I'll kind of pause. And John, do you have any questions coming in, statements, thoughts?
I have thoughts. What you just showed, and I don't know if the viewing audience know this, and you probably don't know this, Brad, but my son has put together an app called Review Spy.
Cool.
Spy actually does exactly what you're talking about. Looking at, you can actually go in by 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, 1-star, and it'll actually do hundreds of them at a time and break them down. Where the way you're showing it, you actually got to go in and look at them all.
Right.
With this thing, it does it all for you in seconds.
Okay. Well, that's awesome. After we're done here, I'd love a link to this, or in fact, let's pause the presentation. Where do we find this on the internet?
It's a Google Chrome app. It's called Review Spy. Review Spy, not Spot.
Perfect. Yep. Let's find this thing. Review Spy. Let's say for Chrome.
I wish John was here on this with me because he can basically tell you.
This one right here feels right. Bear with me. I've never used this. This is super interesting.
It don't look like it.
We may have to come back to this, but I love the fact that there's a tool.
While you're doing your presentation, I'll look for it and see if I can find it.
Perfect. We're multitasking, tag teaming it. So this is what we're doing manually, and it's beautiful that someone's actually developed a tool because this can be a little bit time consuming. And there may be a follow-up to this so we can do a demo of how that software works, but I would love to make it easier for you guys and easier for myself to actually go through these reviews and find out what are people's missed expectation. Because a great product opportunity for me is a product where my competition has like 4.5 stars is kind of their average. Most people like it, but there's still a flaw. There's still something lingering. And then what we do is we reach out to manufacturers, both in the United States as well as overseas, and we say, hey, we'd like you to make this product. I'm sure you have something similar. Can you make it smell good? It can smell like pine. It can smell like anything. We just need it to smell excellent, better than urine. And a lot of manufacturers, they'll say one thing or another. They'll say, yes, we can, or no, we cannot. If they say, no, we can't, you hang up the phone and you talk to those who say, yes, we can. And then you start talking about minimum orders and making the deal happen. So are we good on that? Normally about this time, someone's going to ask, well, how am I going to find suppliers? But I want to just see if everyone has a good idea of how to find suppliers, then we can move beyond that. Are we good on suppliers, John? Oh, I'm sorry, John, you're multitasking. Um, I'll give you a quick example on suppliers, just in case. So you don't have to make everything in China. There's this whole mindset that like China is the first and only place you can go. It's true. You can go to Alibaba. You have Chinese holidays to deal with. You have English as a second language to deal with, and you have they're on the other side of the world, so their night is our day. You have some of that. That being said, those are all challenges you can work through. There'll just be some delays that you didn't anticipate because you're not using a Chinese calendar. There will be some times where you lose a little bit of sleep so you can finish up the conversation or the deal. And you always, always, always want to get product samples and keep ordering samples until they're right. Even when they say, hey, that's no problem, we can fix it, now we're ready for your order, go ahead and do yourself a favor and get one more sample of the product exactly right before you go to production. That being said, China's great. I think India's even better than China, but that's just my thought. Moving on. So there's a couple things that we do that's kind of unique. One, we pick a market. A market is a group of people who have a specific problem, fantasy, desire. People who have curly hair that want straight hair that want curly hair, people who have diabetes, people who have kids with special needs, just people who have kids, people who have indoor dogs and work long hours outside of the home. Are you guys getting what is a market? If you focus on having a market-based business, it almost doesn't matter what your product is. The reason for that is, let's take weight loss. Right now we're all getting ready to go into our winter weight modes where we can put on coats and gain a few pounds. Here in January, everyone has a New Year's resolution, starts to think that they're going to lose the weight. A few years ago, our first product was a product called Garcinia Cambogia. It's this magic pill Dr. Oz promoted. And I'm not a doctor, but when a doctor says this is a miracle, my ears perk up and I know I can sell a bunch of those things. So we went to market knowing that there was a specific problem, fantasy, desire. In the beginning, we thought it was people who wanted to lose weight. The more we researched our market, the more we talked to people after they bought the product, we realized over a third of the people who bought our product never actually opened the bottle, and then they would order more of the product. We realized that they weren't actually trying to lose weight. Their problem, fantasy, and desire was they wanted to eat 8 desserts and keep the same body next year. They want to go to Golden Corral and eat like crazy. They didn't really actually have the goal of having a bikini type body. So it was fantastic. We actually put a picture of a cupcake on our label and actually sold more. So problem, fantasy, desire, create a market-based business. Number 2, find those missed expectations and make the product better. Rather than taking a product and just slapping your label on it, make the product better. If you're taking notes, this is something you're going to put a star on or circle. Make the product better. Make a better mousetrap so people want to throw away the best-selling one and order yours and reorder yours so that yours has legs not just on Amazon, but beyond Amazon. You could actually get your products into retail stores or onto other platforms, and that's taking it to the next level. All right, and then the third thing is, once you figure out what you're going to make by these 1, 2, and 3-star reviews, you don't necessarily have to use China. There's all kinds of influencers who say go to Alibaba and nowhere else, and Alibaba is a good place to get some thumbnail pricing, but I'd encourage you to also look at US suppliers and maybe even look at India. If you want a couple of websites to go for Indian suppliers, I'm happy to put those in the chat box. You have so many options. It's still the Wild West out there. Granted, I've been doing this for a few years. John's been doing it for several years, but there's opportunity is endless, especially when you make products that hit people's missed expectations. You can make the products a little bit better. Are we all on the same page about that? How are we feeling, John?
Yeah, I just posted that link for you too.
Alrighty. I think it's here is in the chat box.
It's in the chat box.
Perfect. Did you see my comment that says here?
Yeah, I see here.
I may be looking in the wrong place.
Yeah, you want to look in the actual chat box.
This is what happens when you do things live, everyone who's attending. Sometimes things work smoothly, sometimes they don't. Sometimes we chase our tails for a little bit on.
You still have your Facebook up?
Yeah. Just send it to my Facebook.
Just did. Just did.
Perfect.
Technology of internet.
Yes, there's always more than one way. Gumroad, excellent. He's selling it. Wonderful. Love it. All right.
You can
With
watch
Review
it.
Spy.
You can watch it. It's exactly what you said, but it simplifies the whole process and does a lot more too. It can
Okay.
sort.
Well, for anyone, yeah, for anyone who's never used this tool before or never bought it, I'm in the same boat as you. I do want this. We click there. Ooh, I can't put my credit card number on here with the whole world watching. But I will save this. I'm going to do the next best thing. I'm going to talk to my wife, Emma, and ask her, please buy this. Boom. So she'll buy this. She's in charge of spending money, and she does a really good job of it. So,
Brad, you know who Jim is, right? Jim Cochran.
oh yeah.
Yeah, he's they're so impressed by this that they're going to be promoting it real soon.
You know, I'm excited for the opportunity. I'll get into it probably tonight and over the next few days, and I will like to promote it too. I mean, anything that can make a difference and take something that's a manual process and make it smoother, easier, faster, or even better automated, I'm all for it. So yes, when we got started,
This is not something I wanted to put on the webinar, guys. It's just something that it kind of ties into what he's doing. So you don't need to buy it if you don't want to. Ties into it, and that's what these webinars do. We try to put things together that make sense to make your life easier.
oh yeah. Yep. Yeah, and that's the nice thing about this. And I'll probably have some feedback based on how we use it. And then, if you guys or the development team wants to tweak it, assuming it does the thing we think it does and does an awesome job, we'll be happy to push that further into the world. And like you said, you can do this manually. Every part of this, we had to start manually because there were no tools when we got started. So can we talk more about, well, I'll ask you, John, what's happening in the chat box? I was going to go deeper into kind of spying.
Yeah, we're going to see if we can answer a couple of questions. Violet here says, how can you prevent the supplier from not sharing your info with another customer?
So when you say supplier, like I'm thinking manufacturer, like manufacturers, their whole purpose on the planet is to take raw materials and turn them into finished goods. Okay, so they take, sticks and they turn them into furniture. That's what they're there for. So you just have to set really clear expectations. It's like any other relationship in your life. You say, hey, I'm really concerned that you're going to do this, and it's not going to be good for me or my business. Can you avoid doing this, whether it's sharing your information or your products or anything? You set a very clear verbal expectation. And then if you want to, if you feel good about it, you can even have, a legal document that's a non-disclosure, non-use. I'm not an attorney and I'm not really big on legal documents, but if it makes you feel good, then you could go with like an NDA and make sure if there's a non-use in there as well, and you're good to go.
We have another question, Brad, from Mary Jo. She says, is the free FBA scan accurate, or should we be purchasing one?
When you say FBA scan, I don't use that tool, so.
And I don't either, so.
I don't know. I want to answer the question, so I want to look it up real quick. FBA scan. I can't tell you how. Oh, it's like an arbitrage tool. When I got started, there were basically no tools. There was Scan Power. Back before it was Scan Power, it was something else. And Profit Bandit. Profit Bandit was really, really new. And I bought Profit Bandit because it was like a one-time fee back then. And now it's, I want to say it's a monthly fee. And I want to say I still have Profit Bandit on my phone. just because when I get a subscription, I never cancel it. So I don't know if it's accurate or not. I would give it a try. When I don't know which thing to buy, let's say FBA scan versus Profit Bandit or anything else, I go ahead and buy everything, and then I cancel the ones that don't work. And so you might be out an extra $20 or $30, but you'll absolutely know which one works the best for you, and you'll never have to think twice about it.
Yeah, and
So I hope that works for you.
the free one from Amazon is not bad either when you're first starting out if you need to have one. But I remember, Brad, when you're thinking back, I remember when my son would be, or I would be in the store, and I would be calling him on the phone and giving him the UPC numbers, and he was on the computer looking. There was no scan apps.
Yeah, while we're reminiscing about like low technology or missing technology, when I started, I didn't even have a smartphone. I had a Kindle Fire, and that was like new technology back then, and a MiFi, like a portable Wi-Fi device. And I would turn that on when I'd walk into the store, and I would type in the UPC search. And the Kindle Fire, like tablets are a thing now, but back then it was basically an e-reader that connected to the internet. It wasn't a real tablet. And so you can be successful despite the technology. Right now you have all the tools, like you're having to choose which tool is the best. When we got started, there were no tools at all. So don't think that technology, choosing the wrong tool is going to slow you down, but it won't stop you. So awesome. Let's jam a little more into the chat and the chat box. Otherwise, we'll go more into kind of like how to spy and get some more data.
Yeah, I would just keep doing what you're doing, and I'm watching it and seeing anything comes in. I'm
Perfect.
also know to keep the questions coming.
Excellent. And yeah, keep them coming because that's what makes this live presentation awesome. Otherwise, we could have recorded this a year ago and it would have been pretty good stuff. So another thing that you want to look at before you start investing money, I'm a big fan of letting the data drive our decisions, just like you're talking about using, apps to talk about rank and sales and things like that. One of the things that's missing from all the other apps is traffic. You can't really measure traffic. You can measure sales, but we found a super sneaky way that's compliant to find out traffic on Amazon. So let me show you how that works. So what we do is, let me see if it's in this presentation. Oh my goodness. It's not in this presentation. Okay, let me just tell you how it works. Oh yeah, here it is. Check this out. What you can do, we're talking about Rocco and Roxy. If you already have your Seller Central account, I'm just assuming that everyone here is already in Amazon in some level doing something. This is kind of what your dashboard looks like in the upper left-hand corner. You log in, under the inventory tab, you click add a product. Now, if you want to spy on your competition, after you click that add a product, it's going to take you right here to a page that looks like this. It says add a product. Find it on Amazon. So you're going to be able to pull a sales and traffic report on your competition. So what you do is you copy and paste the ASIN. So if you don't know what the ASIN is, it's actually up in the URL of a product. Like we can go up there and find one. If anyone needs to know, just ask. Or it's also in the product details on the listing. So you can find it 2 places on any listing. So you're going to click, add that. It's going to have one result because you're using the ASIN, not the UPC, not the title. You're just going to search by ASIN. You're going to find one product. Then you're going to click sell yours. So you're adding it to your inventory. After that, now this is a $20 product. You see kind of the low price is $19.97. Well, we're not going to try to sell this product because, well, 1, we don't have any inventory, and 2, that's not really our business model. We're not hijacking people's listings. What we're doing is more like hitchhiking. We're going to watch what's going on rather than try to take revenue out of their pocket. So we're going to put our price significantly higher than the market price. Not $19.97 or $20, $200, like significantly higher. Because no customer is ever going to buy this $20 product for $200. And if it does happen, well, then you can just use Amazon as drop ship. Just order it from someone who has it in stock for $20 and collect your $200 bill minus commissions. So it's not a bad day when the plan goes weird. And you only need one in quantity because, again, we're not trying to do a volume play here. You can, when you do the shipping method, you can just say, I want to ship it myself, because then you'll just use Amazon as a drop shipper if for some reason that happens. And then you pull a sales and traffic report. If you guys don't know how to pull a sales and traffic report, you should be doing these probably on a weekly basis, especially if the listings are yours and you control them. It's super, super simple. So from Seller Central, it's under the Reports tab. It's Business Reports. Let the page load. It takes a few seconds. And most people who have an Amazon business in the beginning, they're checking this thing like multiple times a day. So it's hard to believe that you don't know where the Business Reports tab is. And then on the left-hand side, you may not be doing this because this is more like work. And this is super important data. On the left-hand side, there's kind of a gray menu. You'll click on Sales and Traffic by Parent or by Parent Item. You click that, and now it breaks out your entire store by ASIN. And you can look at sales and traffic. Sales is obviously like items ordered. Traffic, it's a little bit deceptive. It's actually sessions. It offers you something called sessions and page views. Ignore page views. You're looking for sessions. And anything over like 1,000 sessions a week, we're going to make really good money on. 1,000 sessions means like 1,000 times that week, someone unique looked at that product. It's not just like someone hit refresh 1,000 times. That would be page views. So sales and traffic. Now, if we want to talk about reviews, we can talk about reviews. I'd kind of like to transition to the chat box, see if there's any questions there. And then we'll talk about Amazon's kind of new shakeup with the no incentivized reviews.
Seeing any questions as of right now. I think you kind of got their attention.
Okay, cool. All right. Well, either I'm an excellent teacher or we've blown their minds or the microphone's not working. Who knows? Does anyone have a specific product that they want to kind of volunteer as an example? If not, we'll just pick one. I better sign out. We have some really crazy customers and clients, and some of their products are probably not PG-13, so I want to like make sure my history doesn't show anything really weird. One example I like to use is like compression socks. So compression socks. This is a product. There's all kinds of reasons to have this, but basically it's a sock that fits really tight. You could have it for athletics. You could have it if you have diabetes. You could have it if you just want to make your calves look good. There's several different markets that this product could be appealing for. So while I'm here, I'll go ahead and show you Jungle Scout. So if you are looking at, like, let's say compression socks, here are the things that we look for when we're researching. How many search results show up on the main keyword? 103,000? Holy cow, that's way too many. Like, we like to see less than 5,000. 5,000 is kind of our tipping point. If we can see less than 1,000, we're crazy excited. If we like to see, 2,000, 3,000, that's pretty good. And up to 5,000, we're very interested, because these are all competitors that you're going to have to beat to get to the top half of the first page. So I'd rather beat 5,000 people in a race rather than 100,000 people in a race. Does that make sense? So this is kind of the first place you look when you're researching. Next, we like Jungle Scout. Jungle Scout, we have this on every computer. We use the snot out of it every day. Jungle Scout will show us the product. It just shows images, because every now and then you'll have like a book on compression socks. And if so, you can like go over here and like kick it out. It shows how many units are sold in a month. It shows the revenue, estimated revenue for the month, like pretty decent revenue here. And then you can even sort these columns if you want. So we use that as a tool. And then I'm going to show you what we're doing these days. Instead of what we used to do and what we used to teach is, get a bunch of reviews. You get a few dozen reviews on a product and it really starts taking off. Well, it's easy enough to do. You just give a few dozen away and people will give you a few dozen reviews. Well, Amazon changed the game, which they do about once or twice a year. Don't freak out. Whatever you do, just stay calm, keep your head on straight. You still have a great business. It's just a piece of the launch strategy doesn't work the way it used to. And that's just how it goes. So let's say you're going to do this product or anything similar to this product. What we do is we scroll down. Oh, actually, this one's a little bit weird because let me do something different. Vacuum. Let me do like a high-end vacuum. I want to do something that doesn't have like a bunch of variations. That one, well, this one does. Let's do floor cleaner. I'm thinking like a wax type thing. Oh man, what do you call? Okay, here we go. Let's say you're going to do a floor cleaner, something like this. This is your product, or you're selling a product that's a competing product to this product. What we're doing now is there's something called Amazon giveaways. Are you guys familiar with this? Amazon giveaways? Check this out. You should be able to see it in the middle of my screen. Even if there's a couple second delay, it should be there any moment now. Set up an Amazon giveaway. Are you, John, are you seeing it?
Yeah, I'm
oh
seeing.
Man, I lost John.
I'm seeing.
Okay.
I mute my mic.
Perfect.
So you can talk.
Okay, perfect. Yep. Eliminates the echo and all that good stuff. All right. So a lot of people, including us, we've skipped over this. This has been around for several months. And we just like, no, why are we going to give away our product? We have Thomason, we have reviewers, we have bloggers. We know how to give away our product. And we never did anything with this. So Amazon will actually let you do a giveaway like a raffle. And you can dictate the terms. Like to enter into this, you have to complete a survey. To enter into this, you have to watch a video. And the video can be like, hey guys, I'm testing our product versus 3 of the competitions. Look, it really does a great job. Or customer who's unboxing the product. Or it can be a little like mini commercial or an infomercial about your product. And you can give away one out of every however many you want, every 3,000. You can get 3,000 leads basically. And those people who enter into the giveaway, you can give them promo codes. I wouldn't do 100% off. I would do like 20% off, 50% off. So you could give away your own product. You could give away someone else's product and use this to generate leads and give them products. And then on the back end, what we're doing now is, used to be on the front end, you say, hey, we want reviews. Would you like a product? Very different. What we're doing now is saying, hey, would you like great products, a discount on a product? Here, watch this video or enter into this promo or this drawing. And then after they've purchased, we ask them, hey, did you love the product? If so, here's how you can tell the world. And if not, here's how you can tell me privately. I'm very open to your comments, both positive and negative. And that's how we're doing it. So does that make sense? It's a little more step. It used to be that there's a lot of low-hanging fruit. You could just give away products and get reviews. Amazon's changed things. And now instead of all the low-hanging fruit, you have to take a step ladder. The trees are still producing fruit. It's just you have to reach a little higher for it. Does that make sense? And while you're reaching for the unmute, if there's questions on this, I'm happy to answer them, or thoughts or concerns, or if you guys have a totally different random question, I'm happy to go into that. I mean, we can talk about, I don't know, reports or reimbursements or building a team overseas. Like it's really you guys, the audience. It's really your presentation, your webinar and training time more than it's mine. So, or we could go into karaoke, your call.
All these, yeah, all these things, Brad, that you're mentioning too. My son has another app that is for reviews that they made, and that thing is getting ready to be released too. And that one is awesome because they're actually been using it and testing it, and that thing is just awesome. They're actually building a list from it. I think they built I think my son said in the last 30 days they've got 400 people that they got on a list.
Nice. Well, and I mean, let's, if you want, until we have some direction from the audience, let's dive down this path for a minute. Someone out there is probably thinking, big deal, you got some emails. I don't really care because Amazon's its own ecosystem. I don't want to have to mess with like customer service and processing orders. Who cares about a list? Well, the people who build empires have lists. It's so important. Let's say, you're always in the need for something because what we sell is problems, fantasies, and desires. In the same way we sold people Garcinia, I don't know, 4 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, the following year, we sold them a 90-day workout program. And the following year, we sold them portion control containers. And the following year, I think it was like resistance bands or something else. Like, you still keep selling those same people more and more and more stuff because you're selling their identity, their problems, fantasies, and desires. And that's why you do a list. You can still drive that traffic right back to your Amazon listings. You can still use FBA and the processing and the shipping and everything else and the customer service, but you build a list because you're building your business based on a market, not just search rank. Does that make sense to everyone? Like, if you were on the fence or didn't think that a list was something worth doing, it is. It's kind of the whole point.
Yeah,
So
lists are
cool.
great for building for, if you're an infomercial type person, but they're very good for products. Like what my son does is, he gets these people to purchase these products, and then after they purchase these products, it's helping him build a list, but it's helping him build a list of targeted audiences. That's the thing. He's going after targeted audiences when he's building these lists. So he already knows that the people on these audiences want what he's offering, because if they didn't, they wouldn't be on it. So when he has those products, they're acceptable for him to send 10% off, 15% off, or whatever it is the deal is. So it is very important to build it, and it does help you build it where you can push it back to Amazon, or you can also stop pushing those things because you're building a list off of Amazon now. You can start having that list be pushed to your website. So you can actually start to change platforms and develop a second platform by doing this. It's very effective.
Yeah, just to give you guys like one more, I know we're like beating this thing into the ground, but just like to share a story here. I have a friend who sells a weight loss product, ridiculously overpriced weight loss product. And after they buy the product, he calls them up, not him, someone on his team calls him up and says, "Hey, would you like to join the VIP program? We'll just auto bill and auto ship, and we'll actually reduce your cost 40%. You'll save 40% when you go into our VIP program. We're only offering it to everyone one time. This is your shot." And he makes over $250,000 a month on this VIP auto bill, auto ship program. So I know there's a diverse audience and everyone's making different amounts of money. And for some people, that may not be a lot of money, but I was a poor, dumb farm kid. $250,000 a month is still real money to me. And that, if you don't want the money, you could just go and do something good with it. Send it our way and we'll do something awesome for it. Like, this is so powerful stuff. So boom.
Uh,
Let's go ahead,
hey,
John.
Brad, I'm going to take a
Mhm.
step back real quick. And for the people that are on here, you started out with $100 and built it to $1 million Amazon business. A, do you think that's possible today the way that you did it? And B, what kind of advice would you give to somebody that's trying to do that now?
Love these questions. Love it. So yes, it's definitely possible. Um, you're gonna have a tough time starting private label with $100. If I were starting private label, I'd want to start at least with $1,000. Like, our first private label product was Garcinia. It's like $5 a unit, 96 units minimum order. So we were in it for $500, soup to nuts. Um, you can still get started without a whole lot of money. So $1,000 is probably a reasonable place to start. $5,000 if you want some variety as you're moving forward into it. And yes, it's still the Wild West. In fact, because of the tools, like I'm actually taking notes and learning things as we go tonight, because of the tools that are available now, you can get there much faster than I did because there were very few mentors and even fewer tools to do this kind of work for you. You had to do everything by yourself manually. So yeah, it's very, very doable. So awesome questions. Yeah, if you want, I can tell some horror stories as we go, as we like wait for some stuff to come in through the chat box.
The thing that I would like to hear, and they might want to hear, is that you've done this, you've been there. So to cut down on the learning curve for someone that's trying to do this, what is your best practices that you would say that this is something that I would do because I learned the other thing I shouldn't do?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, here in a few weeks, I'm teaching this at a QuickBooks conference. I can pull up that presentation right now. Here's what you need to know. First, you need to pick a market. Let me go back up here. You really need to focus on these problems, fantasies, and desires. This is huge. This is your business. So spend time thinking about this, contemplating it, learning these problems, fantasies, desires, and they don't have to be yours. We sell products that I don't have the anatomy for these to work. I mean, they're products for women, and we're still doing very well because we understand the problems, fantasies, desires. So that's the first thing. Then research your competition. I showed you how to do that. Customers missed expectations. Like you can see your competition's revenue. You couldn't do that years ago. You can see your customers missed expectations. So if you just get this part of it right, you can be wildly successful by messing everything else up if you have nailed these three things. Like do this. If you only had one slide, one thing, like take the screenshot now or copy these notes. If you only did this right, you've got it. It doesn't matter really where your product's made. You can make your stuff in China. You can make it in the US. I would love to see you guys make stuff that's unique so that the marketplace becomes more colorful with variation rather than like it's just kind of cluttered with tons of very minor copies of the exact same thing. If you would do those things, you could have a 6-figure business your first year, a 7-figure business in your second or third year, depending on how strong that problem, fantasy, and desire is and how hard you push it. So.
Yeah, and the one thing I would add that Brad said is when you're doing private label, he said $1,000. It's very important that you realize that when you're doing this, you check with the manufacturers and let them know, yeah, you're possibly going to give them a bigger order, but you want to be testing these things and making sure that you're doing your homework and that these are actually going to sell before you go out and pop a big amount of money on these things. So you want to test your audience, test your market, and make sure. And we did that. And we took a private label business last year, Amazon business that we did about 500,000 to this year with private label that we've added to probably would be close to $3 million. So does it work? Yeah, it does work. But is it work? Yeah, it's work. It's a lot of research. It's a lot of finding products that are niche type products or products that, you know, the great thing about what Brad was showing you with that review thing is the mistakes that are made that people are looking at and giving 1s and 2s and 3s. Great place for you to start to find out, hey, they like this product, but they want these things a little bit better with that product. Why wouldn't you go tell a manufacturer, hey, can you make this and can you make these changes on this?
That's exactly what you do.
It's giving you a home run. It's putting it right out there for you. You couldn't ask for anything better. These reviews are brilliant, and that review spy tool is brilliant because it puts it right there for you. It tells you right point blank because the product, the material is too hard. So you find a manufacturer that makes it soft, you know, or I wish it had more pockets, or I wish it had something else, more buttons, or it could hold more things. They're telling you what they want. Manufacturer just to fix those flaws in those products and add things, you're going to have a home run because you know what you did? You reverse engineered it. You went and found out what the audience is telling you, and then you corrected it and made it the way they wanted it.
Exactly. And the way you find your audience is pinned to specific problems, fantasies, desires. Don't just sell something for everybody. You're not going to sell air or water or printing paper. You're really going to focus on a specific problem, fantasy, desire, as far away from a commodity as you can without being one-off art, right? You don't want to do, master paintings, but you want to really dive into that problem, fantasy, desire. John, you nailed it. And I mean, I'm learning about these tools. I'm loving these tools. It may take us a week to really feel like we've mastered them, but I mean, we're going to get into these tools and probably create some new training documents for our team so that we can leverage technology.
Yeah, it's just amazing when people think of, you know what, the one thing we haven't touched on too much is the brand restrictions. Well, guess what, guys? You get private label and you make it your brand, there is no restriction. So you don't have to fight about the brand restriction with Amazon. So it's just kind of common sense that if you're going to be going down this road, which I feel that as we go forward, Amazon is actually wanting us to go down this road and create our own products versus carrying other brands and arbitrage and mocking them up. Amazon doesn't like it. They never did like it. And they're trying to eventually probably do away with it. But private label, there's never going to be a brand restriction because it's going to be your brand. If you do it right and you make the things that people are looking for, follow those complaints on the reviews, fix those problems with the products that are there, or create a product that you see in like a forum or a group. People are saying, hey, I wish this was available. I wish somebody made this. Guess what? Get that information. Find out if you're the one that can make that and provide the audience with the solution that they're asking for. This is not rocket science. This is something that's out there. It just takes a little homework and you to be willing to, put your feet to the floor and just do it.
Yeah, and that's really the secret of success. I mean, the thing that works best is hard work. So it's nice when there's a tool to automate and streamline things for you, but if you show up early, then there is no tool. You just have to grind it out and do it. John, if there's more questions on like tactical things or strategic things, I mean, I'm here to kind of pour out and help everyone move forward. Sometimes it's a small step, sometimes it's a series of steps. Are there any other things that are keeping you back from where you want to be? I mean, I guess the first place is you have to really look at where you are. What is your level of success? What's your level of income? What's your level of, happiness and stress? It's not all about the money. There are other things. And is that where you want to be? If you want to be further, then you have to figure out what's keeping you from being, where that is, whether it's reducing your stress by getting cool tools, increasing your money by expanding your catalog, figure out where you want to be and we'll jam with you.
Yeah,
So is there anything else in the chat box? Go ahead.
I absolutely agree with you 100% about that. And I think that the first thing that people need to understand is that before you do anything and want to stay determined and work it, there has to be a why. You have to have a why. My biggest thing I always tell people is if you don't have a why, then you're not going to do it. You need to have a reason why you want to do it, whether you want to, have that extra vacation, or you want to have an extra $100 to be able to pay another payment on your electric bill, or you want to pay another payment to get ahead on your mortgage, or you want to have time on the, to spend time with your grandkids, or do things that you want to do when you want to do them. You have to have that why. Why, and you put that why in front of you every day as a focal point for you. You're going to do it. Yes, you're going to have ups and downs. Brad will tell you. I will tell you. Bob's on here. Bob Willie. He'll tell you. We've all been through that learning curve and had ups and downs. And guess what? Even as successful as we are now, we're still going to have that learning curve. We're still going to have ups and downs because we're human. It tells us that we're going to make mistakes. Yes, we are. But when you're an entrepreneur, you move forward. Failure is not failure. Failure is pushing yourself forward. It's one step closer to that why or that goal that you set. And that's what you guys have to understand. You're going to feel, everybody feels failure. Consider it moving closer to the goal that you set for you, your family, or whatever it is that you have that why for.
Yep. Love it. Love it. That's probably a great like ending note, John. If there's no other like questions or anything, I know it's depending on where you are, it's evening time. People have families and cartoons to watch or math homework to do or whatever. If there's no other things, I think you nailed the closing.
Yeah, I'm looking to see. I'm not seeing any other questions on here. Sometimes, they just get on here and they try to absorb all the information, and sometimes it's just like anything else, it's information overload. But guys, the chat is here.
Yeah.
Whether we go off the air here in a few seconds or not, I want you to know that the chat is going to be live and up. I will also, you can in that chat even after this. I will get that information. I will get it to Brad, and Brad will answer it as I get that information to him. We do have a question though from Mary Jo. Are U.S.
Mhm.
manufacturers really wanting to work with me, the newbie?
Yeah, absolutely. Just be sincere is the big thing. We're never going to deceive people, say, oh, yeah, maybe you've heard of us. We're Nike. We're never going to like portray ourselves as something different than we are. Just be real sincere with them. Say, my skill is launching products on Amazon. I understand how Amazon works. You guys understand how to take raw materials and turn them into finished goods. I need someone like you, and I think you need someone like me. If we could start small and dial it in, then we can scale up. We don't know if we need 2-ounce containers or 4-ounce containers or 32-ounce containers. If we can start small and prove that this works, then we can scale it up. And if you're really sincere, just like that, really they'll work with you. Some will and some won't. Those that don't want to work with you, then you can't make them. You move on to those who can. And yeah, as long as you're sincere like that.
We have another question here, Brad, from Ada. And Ada's part of my team. She works with me. And if I don't get to her, she's going to beat me up. So she said to build a team overseas. How do you do that?
Ooh, that's good. Okay, so I will dive into that. We love building a team. For me, I like to build processes, but even the best processes, they don't work unless someone is actually working those processes. Um, if you want a website to go, I like this service. This is where I find great people. It's actually where I found my wife. It's onlinejobs.ph. That wife thing is a whole nother story. She started working for me years ago and as an assistant and definitely rose up through the ranks. This is a great place to find like Filipino workers who want online jobs. And you keep your job post very simple. We're looking for someone to do customer service or build, data entry. We'll train you for your job. There's no experience necessary. And if you're willing to be trained, you'll never run out of work. We'll train you to master other tasks once you've mastered this one. Um, the pay is good. It's a very secure position with plenty of perks and bonuses. And you should have an inbox full of replies. Now the problem is you're going to have an inbox full of replies. It's not necessarily what you needed. You wanted one worker. Now you have a bunch of emails to go through. So what we do is we put an Easter egg in there. And when I say Easter egg, what I mean is something that people have to find and you'll see that they found it. So what you do is you say, if you think you're the right fit for this job, send me an audio recording of your voice saying, hello, my name is, and I'm your rock star. Attach it to the response, and then all you have to do is open the ones that have an attachment. Does that make sense? How that's an Easter egg? You can filter out the ones who actually read and caught the detail, and you'll eliminate 85% of the responses. And so you're already like only looking at the cream of the crop. And then what we want to do is train them. I'm a big fan of training documents. You can do training documents, you can do training videos. You want to make sure that they have everything they need to be successful. When it comes to salary, do we want to go into this level of detail, or I can keep going. I'm really passionate about hiring a team, whether they're onshore or offshore. Tell me if I've answered it, if you want me to keep going, because I can talk about this forever.
Ada, did he answer your question, or do you need him to go into more detail about it? Because I basically, what he's talking about in the email thing too is perfect. I mean, you could you can put in your email too, just put, please respond to this email with John 45, or just something that's going to make them stand out in the email, so that it doesn't have to be always a recording, just so you have something that you know that they actually took a look at it and did what they were supposed to.
Mm-hmm. So we could talk about, oh, keep going. Cool. I'm crazy passionate about this. So if I dork out too much, just like say, hey, we got it. Thanks, Brad. All right. So now it comes to, how do you hire the best? Well, you have to have kind of a grading system. People aren't letter grades, but you know what? We have A quality cars, we have A quality houses and B's and C's, A quality credit. We do grade things on letters. So at the top is your A, and you have a B, a C, and you really don't want to mess with anything below a C because it's just going to be a nightmare. So let's look at levels of accountability. This is how we're grading people on how accountable are they? How far and conscious are they into the problems and the business? So at the very bottom, you have people who do what you tell them to do, but nothing more. If it's fill out this spreadsheet, they'll fill out the spreadsheet and then they'll stop. But if there's an error in the spreadsheet, they're not going to tell you, hey, there's an error. The formula stopped working. I just kept going, boss. That's no good. So moving up the level of accountability, someone who does what you tell them to do, they see a problem, and they communicate with you immediately. Hey, boss, there's an error in the spreadsheet. Okay, this is kind of a C-level worker. This is good, but now you just became kind of a manager or a babysitter or a full-time trainer. That's not what you want. That's not making your life scalable or the work scalable. So you go one level higher than that. Someone who does their work, they see a problem, and when they find a problem, they go and research and find a solution. Maybe they use YouTube or Google or find a forum or ask their friends who are also virtual assistants. They find a solution and say, hey, boss, the formula quit working. It's because I'm using a Mac and you were on a PC and the formula didn't come out quite right. But I went ahead and here's the new formula. Can I go ahead and use it? So they'll ask for permission. That's better, but I don't think we're quite all the way there yet. So one level higher, now we're into like the B territory. They go ahead and do the work you tell them to. They find a problem. They find the solution, implement the solution, and tell you, hey, boss, I fixed the formula. Do you want to just double check it? It looks right to me. I just don't want to mess up your system. Now we're in like the solid B type worker. And then you have the A worker. You don't always have to marry them, but do whatever you can to keep them around. There's someone who does the work you give them. They see the problem in advance, they find the solution, they implement the solution, and then they tell you about it on a scheduled basis. You have a daily or a weekly meeting with them, and they tell you about all the fires that they put out that they didn't even bother you with. And that's your real A quality workers. So on the bottom end of the spectrum, you have maybe a couple $100s a month salary. Kind of in the middle of the spectrum, $300-400 a month salary. And on the top end of the spectrum, 700 to really whatever they ask for. And if they're asking for a pretty substantial salary, ask them to qualify. I understand you want $1,000 a month salary, but why should I give you that when there are people who will work for less and be very appreciative? And if they can sell you on the salary, then they get it. That's the way we do it. So even if it's beyond our budget, if they can sell it to us, that's who we want because they're pushing. They know how to go that extra mile, and they'll pay for themselves quickly. Does that make sense? And then we can talk about some cultural nuances and things like that. But are you guys on the same page?
That makes sense to me. I'm totally on board. I know what you're talking about.
Here's some advanced things for you, and then we can transition to any other topic. All right, so the Philippines has a 13th month, which means in December, you give them an extra month of salary. This is just customary. If you don't do it, they're not going to quit, but they can't brag about you, and now they can't be generous to their friends and family and loved ones. So you're doing a huge disservice if you don't give them a 13th month. And they may not even ask you about it because they're a very humble culture. Number two, you can ask about their family. It's actually better that you ask them, how is their life? And actually listen and pay attention. Like the human connection is a big, big deal. The third thing, we do this, you don't have to, but if you do, you're going to keep your workers for a long time. We pay for their kids to go to college. So in the Philippines, it's customary, to have a bunch of kids, and education's a big deal in Asia. If you hadn't heard, um, they want their kids to go to college, and this is a big stress. It's a burden, and they're going to be thinking about this for the next 10 years. And if you can tell them, hey, don't even think about it, I've got it covered. When the time comes, I've got tuition. You just make sure they get good grades. This is huge. Two reasons. One, you got a worker for the next 10 years. Two, you just solved a huge stress point out of their life, and now they can perform at a much higher level. And three, you're helping make, the world a better place. That kid didn't do anything to earn it, possibly, and you just did a really nice deed for someone. So does that make sense, kind of taking it to the next level?
I think the biggest question is, I know some people are actually thinking about this, is that when you say you pay for college, are you giving them like an extra tuition monthly? And if that is, then how do you determine what that is?
The interesting thing is we've never actually had to pay yet because their kids are so low. What we do is just when it comes up, when they go to school, just send us a copy of the congratulations, you're enrolled in the class, and forward over the tuition letter. It's going to be 500,000 bucks a semester, not a big deal. We just take care of it.
What if they want to go to Yale?
If they want to come to the United States, well, you better hope that your business is doing really well. You could put some fine print in there. My assumption was we're paying for like a nursing degree in the Philippines, but
Yeah,
you might go ahead and put some fine print on, hey, this is for local university, not international universities. So,
I'm just
but yeah.
throwing that out there because that's probably something I could just see here right now that they go and tell their child, keep doing what you're doing. Brad says he's going to send you to become a doctor.
Yeah, it's like, yep, you're going to go to the best medical school. You're going to be a surgeon, a brain surgeon. So yeah, university in the Philippines is very affordable compared to what we see university here. Like what we would pay for books here is what they would pay for a whole semester there. We put one person through an MBA program over there, not her kids, like she's the worker, and it was very, very reasonable, like 500 a semester. So
yeah, that's a huge point of interest to them over there because of that is a big worry to them with all the things that go on over there in the Philippines. So that's not even something, and we have Philippine workers. We have, I don't know how many we have, but and we know about the 13th week, and yes, we take care of it because it is the right thing to do. We also get bonuses on top of that on what they're supposed to do. We actually pay them bonuses. But that college thing, I'm going to talk to my son about that because I like that angle, and I think that you're getting two things. You're getting a loyal worker that's really going to take care of you, and you're in return saying, hey, listen, you're taking care of me. I'm going to take that worry off of you and take care of your children. That's awesome.
Well, and it takes it to a much higher level because they're not thinking like, all right, we're going to do this work this week and get paid this week or this month. They're really thinking like, this is my last job. I can delete my profile off onlinejobs.ph. I don't need another job. I can shred the resume. This is it. And that's the kind of worker that you want.
That's a great tip, and I think we're going to end on that tip because I know that Brad can go all night, and I can go all night, and my wife probably don't want me to go all night. So, and Brad was on here for an hour. That's what I kind of promised that we do is an hour webinar. We went over a little bit, and he gave some great information about the Philippines and getting workers to be able to work with you and having a team. Like I said, we have a team. I know what that's all about. Thing is huge when you outsource. You start to really grow when you can trust and have other people doing the things that you don't need to be doing. They need to be done, but you should be concentrating on other things and letting the things that someone else can do for you, do them for you. That's when you're really going to grow your business. So I do really appreciate you being here, Brad. Pleasure having you on here tonight. I want to let you go back to your wife and enjoy the rest of your night. And I'm going to give you the last word for the night here. And guys, thank you for being here. I know you could be anywhere else. There's a lot of webinars. There's a lot of things online. I appreciate the time that you spend here. And I appreciate the time that you've given to Brad to come in here and explain the things that Brad has explained to you. Hopefully you take some of this information that Brad has given you tonight and that you do apply it, because it doesn't work if we don't apply. Remember, we have to apply what we learn. Otherwise, it's just information. So again, Aaron, Brad, I'm going to give you the last word.
Just rock and roll. Yeah, make that decision, and then once you have a plan, follow the plan. Work your tail off, and you'll be successful. So if you need help, ask for help. John's a great resource, and there's tons of great tools and coaches and everything else out there. So work until you can't work anymore, and then ask a coach for help on how to work more or work smarter.
Hey, Brad, do you have a link or something if they want to get in touch with you and want to find out more about what you're doing and things like that? Do you have a way they can contact you?
Yeah, here's probably the fastest way to do it. This is here's our website, amazonsherpa.com. And if you want, you could even like grab some of these training documents we were going to give out to the QuickBooks folks. So there's kind of like an extra bonus. Or if you guys want to jump on a short strategy call, here's a link to jump on our schedule. So amazonsherpa.com or Brad DeGraw, you can book me.
All right, Brad, thanks for coming on. God bless, and we'll talk to you again soon. And everybody else, have a blessed night. Thank you so much.
Thanks. This was awesome. Bye. All right. That was awesome, John.
Still says we're live, but we're not live because it says call is ended.
Well, if you want, I'll hang up, and then anytime you want to jump into a conversation, brainstorm anything, you got me Facebook. I think we've got each other's emails. Just connect with me, and we'll jam.
Yeah, we'll do that. I'll type to you on Facebook anyway and talk to you a little bit there. I know it says you can still hear us, Bob. I don't know why, but it says call ended. But I'm gonna get off here and talk to. Let's see. Let's see.